fuzzy mic I bought a few months ago for the first time, and it seems to be working incredibly, and I'm so happy I have it. I have another microphone I use mostly to record singing. I need to set up a windscreen for that one because there's a lot of popping when I speak into it. I apologize if there's some background noise. My roommates are watching a movie downstairs, and I guess it's a good one because they keep shouting. So, today, I thought I'd do something simple and just tell you about this little piece of memorabilia I have. It's one of my favorite video games ever, and I have had this since I was 4 years old. And this is Silent Hill for the PlayStation. I first saw this game played when I think I just said 4, but I must have been 5 or 6. My aunt had a PlayStation, and she's always been a big horror fan, and she would babysit me a lot. And I, even as a young kid, was really into spooky and scary stuff. And it was like a foundational moment for me watching her play this game for the first time, because it's so scary. And I remember sitting there and watching the first few minutes of the game, which, if you're familiar with it, you know how iconic and horrifying it is. I first began to play this when I was 6 or 7, and I beat it when I was, I think, 7 years old for the first time. I could go on and on about why I love Silent Hill. I think as the years have gone on, it's taken on different cultural significance, kind of just as a creature feature. Everyone's familiar with Pyramid Head, and maybe with those nurse monsters and, the rusty alternative worlds. But longtime fans of the series, or those who've played the first few, know that it's something a lot more subtle than that. It never really was about the monsters and the spectacle. It's a very atmospheric experience. The soundtrack is absolutely brilliant by Akira Yamaoka. A mix of industrial and analog kind of rootsy instruments and ambient noise. The story is, what I loved about the story is that it's not very clear what's going on. There's very little exposition. You don't really know so there's a plot, and by the end you are sure of what happened as far as your main character's goals, but very little is explained about the paranormal goings on, the backstories of the characters, what is actually happening in your environment, and I like things that way. As I've grown older, I've become a fan of David Lynch, and I like him for the same reason. So, This jewel case is the original one that my aunt bought. Unfortunately, it is missing the disc. But the case is really what I want because there's a lot of material to read to you. So, I'll try and get some tapping and such, but it's hard having to hold this with one hand. Silent Hill, developed by Konami, rated M for mature. So here I'll show you the back. Gosh, I keep holding this thing upside down. It's the back. And I think if you take a look at those pictures, you can see just how eerie and dark and uncanny it is. This top one is the beginning of the game I was referring to. You're in an otherwise normal world, and then you walk down an alley and it begins changing, and suddenly everything is rusty and there's chain link fences everywhere, and these little child monsters come out of nowhere and start killing you. Okay. The back says, every town has its secrets. Some are just darker than others. Harry Mason and his daughter Cheryl are driving to their favorite vacation spot. Late that night, a figure suddenly appears from out of the darkness. Harry turns the wheel in panic, and the car careens off the road, knocking Harry unconscious. Awakening sometime later, he realizes that Cheryl is missing. Stumbling out of the wreckage, he heads towards the small town of Silent Hill. This game boasts real-time rendered environments, and dynamic camera changes create a truly cinematic horror experience. Side note, I really love the graphics on this game, and because we're never going back to that level of graphical simplicity, we'll never see something quite so uncanny. So, maybe uncanny isn't the word, but there's this stiltedness to it, this just less than reality to it. Stunning visuals and true-to-life CG movies, coupled with horrifying 3D images, will leave you breathless. Intense action and puzzles stimulate your mind as well as your trigger finger. Fog and shadows engulf you in a world beyond imagination. Atmospheric music and sound change with each tension-filled moment. So, rated mature for animated blood and gore and animated violence. So you open up the disc case. I'm gonna show you the booklet here in a minute. And I've always loved this. Just look at that face on the inside of the cover. So creepy, surreal, and just what is in that expression, you know? There's this thing about the PS1 CGI that is so good for horror. Just the way it looks. Here we go with the booklet. And there's another face on the back. I believe that is the same or slightly different face. Anyway. Let's get into this. Here we see our protagonist, Harry Mason, in the table of contents. Skip the controls and such and get to these story bits. Now this is creepy. This is really creepy. This image, that is a character that you come to meet later in the game. There's a lot of secrets to her. And as you can see, she's maybe in a lot of pain. Here we go, prologue. What I love about games prior to like the PS3 era is that they came with booklets that provided more than just, simple controls and stuff. They provided story information and little character bios and stuff. It adds a lot to the game to be able to read about it and have this nice, beautifully designed booklet. So here you see the car. Harry Mason, the main character, sees this figure and then swerves off the road and is knocked unconscious in the crash. The resort town of Silent Hill slips into quiet desolation now that the peak of development and growth has passed by. The memories of a tragic fire 7 years ago still haunt the townsfolk, and with the tourist season long past, there is hardly a shadow stirring. Harry Mason prefers to take late vacations with his daughter Cheryl. This year, they've made plans to visit Silent Hill. Due to car trouble, they reach the outskirts of the town late at night. Cheryl is sleeping in the back seat as a motorcycle cop roars past this truck. If you've seen the movie, that's Sybil Bennett. The cop is in the movie too, but the movie is trash. The movie does not capture Silent Hill very well, other than the visuals and sound. Moments later, Harry spots the motorcycle dumped on the shoulder. There is no one to be seen. It paints an ominous picture. Suddenly, a shadow appears in front of the car. Harry turns the wheel in panic. The car slides off the edge of the road and into a gully. I got some of the fuzz from my microphone in my mouth. Harry eventually regains consciousness. Cheryl is nowhere to be seen. It is unusually cold. Snow is falling out of season. Where has Cheryl disappeared to? Harry walks toward a town he sees in the distance. Game objective: find Harry's missing daughter, Cheryl. That's really cute. They put a little objective in there. We don't really think of games like that anymore. So let's see. There's some stuff about gameplay and such. I'll skip over that. There is to note, there's this map, and you really have to pay attention to the map and check your map a lot in the game. It's a staple of the series. Characters. This is Harry Mason and his daughter Cheryl. Harry Mason, age 32, writer, protagonist. Losing his wife to disease has left a shadow over his soul. His daughter is the only bright spot left in his life. He goes to Silent Hill to go on vacation with his daughter, to be mired in bizarre events. That was the beginning of this tale, or was it predetermined somehow? That's a truth that Harry has yet to discover. Cheryl Mason, age 7, Harry's daughter. She lost her mother at a young age and lives with her father, a gentle, normal child. She goes on vacation with her father to Silent Hill. However, an unimaginable event is waiting to unfold. Sybil Bennett, age 22, police officer. Did you see that? She is an officer that patrols near Silent Hill. A sudden call causes her to investigate Silent Hill. She is faithful to her duties and investigates Silent Hill on her own. And then, the last character here, that little silhouette, Alessa. Harry runs across this mysterious girl several times. Who or what is she? If you've seen the movie is kind of a derivative of this story. The main character is changed to a woman. Alessa is in there, Cheryl is in there. They changed her name to Sharon for whatever reason. People don't name their kids Sharon anymore. But it is not the same here, and the movie did away with basically all the mystery and creepiness of this story and all the subtlety. I do like the movie for certain qualities. I think it's great, visually and creature feature and stuff, but I'm making the movie comparison because I think that I want to pique people's interest in the original game, and I don't think that the series should be, you should make assumptions about the series based on the movie. So the next part is just items. You use guns and health items to fight terrifying monsters. Two things I'll point out. There's a flashlight and a radio. So it gets pitch black and you have to use a flashlight to see anything, and if you don't have it on, you can't pick up items or look at your map. But when it is on, the enemies can see you and they will come towards you and attack. So you have to think about when to have your flashlight on and off. The pocket radio. You carry around a radio and it emits this creepy white noise when there are enemies near. And the radio tells you when something is coming, when something's getting close. And it's especially helpful when you're running around on the streets, because the monsters out there move very fast. There's these flying demons and these things that jump around. And you hear your radio start going and you think, oh man, I gotta run or get my gun out. Okay. The rest of the booklet, yeah, we've got credits. Yeah, it's all just Konami of America's marketing team. Yeah, so this is a cherished item, despite that it's very busted and the disc is possibly lost forever. I still keep it as memorabilia because, one, I'm a horror fan, And I think the video games are just great pieces of horror. I'm not one of those people who tries to insist that video games are art and stuff. I think video games are video games, and you can just enjoy them for what they are, and you don't need to be insecure or try to, whatever. But I am a creative person. I'm a writer. I write poetry. I used to be pretty serious about it, and I do other things, and Silent Hill has been extremely influential on me as a creator of all sorts of things. So I cherish it for more than just kind of, being a fan of the game. Yeah. So I'm happy to have been able to share this with you, especially if you were not already a Silent Hill fan. If you were a Silent Hill fan, we should talk about it. I really like connecting with fans of the series. Not a lot of my IRL friends are fans of the same things as me. Most of them don't even play video games. So leave a comment, message, please like and subscribe, because I'm brand new and I need that. I need fans. Alright, thanks so much. See you guys later.